Good Monday morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with this technical update. It is the 19th of May. This video is an educational video. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended in doing this. It is just to demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis. So let's get cracking. S&P 500 closed higher Friday again. It is well above 5,905. Minor resistance here, just around 6,000, could be tested. However, if we're looking at pre-market, we are a little bit lower. So maybe we will have a little bit of a correction if we take the last leg up or this leg up here. Well, then there's a bit of way down to the 38.2 retracement. But if we measure from this one here, it is just around the 100 and the 200 moving average. That is more or less, excuse me, sideways. So there will be some support here. We could see a dip down here the next few days for a correction, but we are still in a bullish trend. There's no divergence on the positive RSI. We are likely to push higher. Nasdaq 100, very close to minor resistance here, 21,454. Pre-market, we're down about 1% at the moment, so it seems like we are in for a correction here. We had Thursday and we had Wednesday, two dojis there, and a negative, no, that was Friday and Thursday, sorry, and today we seems to be forming a negative candle, but let's see, day is not done yet, or it's almost not started. So, but if we do get a negative candle today, well, then we have a top and reversal-like pattern. That could take it down to around 20,321. So let's see about that, how it will evolve the next few days, and especially today. Dow Jones also higher, above resistance at 42,518. But pre-market, we are just a little tad lower. So let's get back to the cash index. If it starts closing this gap here between the lows here at 41,777, then the support here at 41,382. That would be crucial that it doesn't close that, because then we have a different situation. We are likely to resume downtrend, but for now still bullish trend. No divergence on the positive RSI, indicating likely higher levels, but a correction seems to be kicking in. Hang Seng, well, bounced a little bit, but on the day actually more or less unchanged. Still needs to get above this peak there at 23,711 to continue the bullish trend towards 25,000. So let's see if we can do that. I still believe we will see a little bit of setback down to around 22,700 area. On the European markets, we have Eurostoxx 50 closed a higher Friday here. Pre-market though, we are down about 1%, as we can see here on the EU 50 CFD. So I think we'll maybe see a setback at least to 5,300 area, where we have a little bit of support, 3,313, where there's support coming up. Or there's some support here. We also have the 100 moving average coming up there, the 55 more or less, slightly lower but flattening out here, and the 21 coming up here. So I think we'll see a dip down to this region around 5,300, and then I think we will see a bounce there. The DAX index at Doji Friday market didn't do much on the day. Of course, we closed a little bit higher, a new higher, all-time high close. But could be, if we get a negative candle today, then it could be a top of reversal situation. And if it takes out 23,338, well, then expect a correction down to around 22,800. And as we can see here, pre-market we are down a little bit, but still here on the CFD, 23,326 is key. On the Forex market and your dollar, well, not much doing actually, still sideways here between 110.50 and 112.60. That's the range it needs to break out of. If it breaks out bullish, well, then we are looking at just below 114. If it breaks out bearish, well, then we are looking at 109, 109.15. Cable or sterling dollar. Still trying to bounce up to the previous peak here at 134.45, but it's really struggling at the moment. If it takes out the low there, from the 12th of May at 134.14, so 134.10 I would say. Then we could see a sell-off down to around 130, but I think we'll see a little bit further bounce trying to push higher. Euro sterling, a lot of volatility this morning here, probably on thin markets. So this, but we're still above the 786 retracement. We're still above 84. And we're still above the 100 moving average. That's the pink one there, and the red one is the 200. Almost touched that. We're still negative sentiment, but it seems like a lot of fighting going on here between bulls and bears. Should we bounce or should we push lower towards 83? So that's what it is. I think if the direction it comes out of today's high and low, meaning if it comes out, if it takes out the peak of today, 84.50, then we will see a bounce higher. And if it takes out the lows of today at 83.85, then I think we'll see a sell-off down to 83.50 and 83. Dollar yen testing 61.8 retracement, 144.75. Could be testing a little bit more. Could actually drop down to the 786 at 143.70. We can see the 55 moving average coming down here, dragging it down or pushing it down. Same here with the 100 moving average. I think tomorrow it will break below the 200 moving average, and I think we'll see a dollar yen pushing lower here in the coming days. However, expect a little bit of a bounce, but overall I think we'll see it pushing lower. However, if it starts moving back above 146.55, then it could have another go at this peak up here at 148.60. But it doesn't seems like it, but we shouldn't rule it out. Euro yen finding some support here at the 55 moving average coming up there, so I think we'll see a little bit of bounce towards 164, but it still needs to close above these peaks here, just above 165 to push up to 166.5. Aussie yen dancing around the falling trend line there, just above the 55 moving average. I think we could see a slide down to the 38.2 retracement at just below 92. But I don't know, we could see a bounce. There's still positive sentiment on the RSI indicating likely higher levels. But we have the 55 kind of dragging a little bit lower. We have the 100 also weighing on it, and there's some overhead resistance in the 200 moving average coming down there. The sterling yen reached the 61.8 retracement, 192.65, and the 200 moving average. I think we could see it bounce. There's also still positive sentiment on the RSI indicating it will bounce. So I think if we see it crawling higher here to the next few days, then the potential up to previous peaks here at around 196. Aussie dollar still dancing sideways really, so it's still this range here between 63.40 and 65. Can't really make up its mind. There is positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we should see higher levels. We also have the 55 and the 100 moving average coming up there, kind of trying. There's a little bit of a bottom there or floor that will hold it up there, I think. So for now, I still believe we'll see it try to crawl higher. Although the 200 moving average is weighing on it. Dollar Canada, well, I would say the range here between 138.90. If it takes out that, then it could slide back to 138, 137.5. If it takes out the 200 moving average, which is slightly rising, and the 140.30 resistance here, then there could be a potential up to the 61.8 at 141.60, but we can see here that the 55 will be a bit of quite a bit of a resistance, and also the 100 moving average coming down there. So the upside potential seems to be limited. I think we will see it slide lower here in the coming days and weeks. Sterling in Canada, well, currently pushing above minor resistance, previous peak here at 180 and a bit, 180 and a change. Can it really take off the little spike up there at 186.25? Then there could be potential up to 187.30, possibly up to 188. Then on the Swiss francs, Euro Swiss, let's just center this a bit. Also a lot of volatility this morning here around the 93.45, the 61.8 retracement. Again, if it takes out the lows here at 92.95, then expect a push down to around 92.20. The moving averages are slightly declining, slowly pressing it down, but for now still range bound there. Dollar Swiss testing support here again at 83.35. I think it will take it out. I think we will see it down to the 61.8 at 82.60, possibly testing the lows here around 82, possibly lower. If it takes out the peak here at 82.76, then there could be a little bit of rally up to the 61.8 at 85.43, but as we can see, the 55 moving average coming down there, kind of putting a lid on it and indicating likely lower levels. Also still negative sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely lower levels. We have the dollar index still above the 120, 100 spot 20. If it takes out the lows there at 100 and spot 11 and the lower rising trend line, then I think we'll see it down to 99.25, possibly testing the support levels here around 98.68. So it seems to turning around here at the moment. Also here we have the 55 moving average coming down, pushing it lower. Gold, very volatile at the moment. Still keeping itself above 3,167. It has dipped below a couple of times, but closed above every single time. I think we could see a bounce up to the 61.8 retracement at 3,315, but it will be a little bit of a struggle. But still positive sentiment on the RSI. It hasn't closed below 40 threshold. That would be key. But there's also divergence indicating that we are we are in an exhaustion mode at the moment, but it is it is a little bit uncertain what's going on. However, if it's sliding lower again below 3,167, we could see a test again, once again, the spike down here at 31.20, possibly down to around 3,000. But we can see the moving average coming up here, 55.1, giving some support. We can see it last time they gave some support. We also have the rising trend line. So I would expect sideways range trading, or maybe try to bounce up to 33.15. On silver, still this range bound between 31.65 and 33.70. Copper, also in this range here between 450 and 480. A lot of noise, a lot of volatility, but not really moving much. It seems to be boxed in. Negative sentiment still on the RSI, didn't close above 60 threshold over there, but it needs to get back above 480, 481 to resume uptrend. Crude oil, well, found some support here at the 38.2 retracement. So if it takes out the lows here from the 15th of May at 60.47, then expect to sell off down to around 58.58, possibly lower. We have the 55 moving average coming down there. Try to give in, pushing it lower. I don't think this double bottom scenario there will unfold. It needs to close above 64.87 to establish or confirm this double bottom pattern. So for now, it is still under pressure. Same picture on Brent Crude, of course. If it takes out the lows there at 63.44, then I think 61.67, maybe down to around 60 spots 28 could be seen. On the European nat gas, just dancing sideways really between 34 and 36, and it needs to break out of that. US nat gas, on the other hand, keeps dropping, and now we have the 55 moving average about 2. If it hasn't broken below the let's see here, 372, no, it hasn't broken. So either later today or tomorrow at least it will break below, so that will further add to the bearish picture on the US nat gas that's currently testing the 61.8 retracement of 323. I think it will push lower here in the coming weeks. Let's remove this one to around $3 again. On the yield side, we have the US 10-year Treasury yield could be testing 4.55 resistance here, possibly today or some of the next following days. positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating we're likely to see that. Also, the 2-year bouncing a little bit. If it could take out the peak here from Friday, well, potential up to 415. Moving on to the European yields, we have the EU 10-year yields here that sold off to below 260. Seems to bounce a little bit today. Could resume uptrend. If it moves back above 265, then I think we'll see a test of the 271 resistance up here. The UK 10 already bouncing quite a bit today. It found support there, the 55 moving average, and could take out the peak here at 474. If it takes out that, well, then we'll be looking at these peaks here around 480, these highs here around 480 that could be tested. If it takes out the lows from Friday, well, then we could see a setback to around 455, 450. Bitcoin got hit by a massive sell-off this morning. Don't know what caused it, but a massive sell-off. Didn't get all the way up to the previous all-time highs. Is now setting back. We have support here just around 104,000, of course, but last time I actually went straight through it. So let's see, but it could set back to test that. What we can do, we can say, okay, if it at a Fibonacci to this, we're almost down to the 38.2 retracement, so about the 61 retracement here at 98.295. That is also where this peak is. So there's a little bit of stronger support down in this region there. So let's see what this can do. Also, Ethereum sell off this morning here, testing the 38.2 retracement. It's the red one you should focus on because that's measured from the lows there. It should actually be from around this level there, but still testing it. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then we could see a sell-off down to around 2100, again 61.8 retracement there. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again later.